Hi there, tribe. It is your mom of three in NYC back with another video. I'm back with another video. If you are not yet a member of my tribe, just smash that subscribe button below. Join this community. Let me go ahead and jump right in. I'm giving you guys labor and delivery story for baby girl, my baby number one. All right, so baby girl was due originally November the 11th, 2012. And we did not find out the gender. So Hubsters believed that there are very few real true surprises in life. And so he wanted the gender of the baby to be a surprise. Another reason he did not want any preconceived stereotypes for the baby before the baby even got here. So my entire pregnancy, we did not know the gender. And it was super hard, right? Because especially when you're nesting, you want to know the gender so that you can get all of the nursery ready. You want to pick out your stroller. And so because we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, we ended up getting lots of gender neutral, and the color theme for the nursery was like a deep orange and cream, and the theme was Noah's Ark, so like lots of animals. So she was due November the 11th, 2012. My entire pregnancy, thank God, was great. I was able to run every day. I ran 5 miles a day until I was 8 months pregnant. Super healthy the entire pregnancy. I had the same breakfast every day. I had oatmeal, bowl of oatmeal, like on the stove with a pat of butter and some raw sugar and a whole grapefruit. I had a salad every lunch. And then for dinner, I would do either chicken breast or a piece of lean fish. All in all, my entire pregnancy, I only gained 17 pounds. And she was 7 pounds, 2 ounces. And then the placenta, so I mean, it was pretty marvelous. The fact that I only gained 17 pounds, she was 7 pounds. I was healthy throughout my pregnancy, and then she was a very healthy, happy baby. But my entire pregnancy, because we didn't know the gender, everyone would always try to guess. Everyone. They would, based on, the way I was carrying, or the fact that I was so happy. And every person said it was going to be a boy. And I mentioned that the nursery theme was Noah's Ark, the jungle, but we had a baseball set. because I really thought it was a boy. So my entire pregnancy, everyone said, oh, it's a boy. The way you're carrying it, it's a boy. You're so happy. You've kept your appearance. It's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy. And I began to believe it myself. And I really believed it was a boy. Until I went to a wedding. I was 7 months pregnant. Family friend got married in Jamaica. Yeah, Jamaica. So it was my last flight. I was, again, 7 months pregnant. And when I landed in Jamaica, the attendant at the airport who carries your luggage, he was a really, really older guy. And I remember thinking like, oh my goodness, I feel so bad. He has to carry my heavy bag. And he said, Miss, do you know what you're having? I said, no, but everyone says it's going to be a boy. And he said, no, it's a girl. I said, excuse me, sir? No, it's a boy. Everyone says it's a boy. I think it's a boy. It's a boy. He said to me, and I will never forget this. He said, they look on the outside. I see the inside. You're going to have a girl. I was like, okay, here's your $5 tip. Like, have a great day, sir. It's going to be a boy. And like I mentioned before, I had bought a baseball nursery set because Hubs was a huge Mets fan. And again, I believed it was going to be a boy. So lo and behold, those that were in the New York, New Jersey area when Hurricane Sandy hit can remember like how catastrophic it was for the city. So Hurricane Sandy hit on a Sunday. I went to work that Monday, that Tuesday. no. The Hurricane Sandy hit on a Sunday. My job was closed because of Hurricane Sandy the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because of flooding. Thursday, at about 1 a.m., I began feeling a pain I had never felt before. And for the ladies out there that get a menstrual cycle, I have never gotten cramps during my cycle. So this pain was a whole new pain for me. And it was unreal. It was unreal. And it woke me up. The pain woke me up out of my sleep. So this is, again, Thursday. Hurricane Sandy hit on a Sunday. My job was closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday at 1 a.m., I'm awakened out of my sleep from what I believe are contractions. And so I wake Hubsters up. I'm like, babe, I think it's happening. He's like, what? And we had gone to Tribeca parenting class. So we kind of, because it's our first child for both of us, we had taken this parenting class to look for signs of labor. We had our whole labor plan ready to go. I mean, we were ready to go. So it was a few days early. This is November the 1st. She was due on the 11th. This is November the 1st. But I was told by many people, my OBGYN at the parenting class, that usually your first baby comes, if not on their due date, then after their due date. And again, the due date is an estimation. So I was honestly not expecting to go earlier than my due date. But again, it's Thursday, November the 1st. I wake him up and I said, babe, I think it's it. I'm feeling these pains. So he got right up. And like I told you, Hurricane Sandy had just hit. And so Hubsters, we had a car. We had a Subaru WRX at the time. He got on his beat, but we had no gas in the car. Again, the baby's not due for almost 2 weeks. We had no gas in the car. Regardless, we had no gas in the car. I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling the truth. Hubsters rode his bike to 18 different gas stations. 18 different gas stations to find gas. Because again, we're in Manhattan, right? In the middle of the city. It's an island, right? So in order to get gas, trucks have to come onto the island to fill up the stations. So he literally had to ride his bike to 18 different gas stations until he found a gas station that had gas. He filled up like one of those little red gas containers with gas, rode his bike back to our apartment where the car was parked, put that gallon of gas in the car just to drive the car itself to the gas station to get gas to drive me to the hospital. So again, he is gone literally all morning. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, where is he? He had to ride his bike to find gas, to put in the car, to drive the car to get gas. So he gets the car gassed up, he comes and parks. And so our delivery plan was to labor for as long as possible before going to the hospital, because once you go to the hospital, you're pretty much like on a time crunch. They want you to birth within 24 hours, or they will step in other things, inductions, C-sections. We really wanted to stay, if possible, not going down that route, but laboring like in my own environment for as long as possible. So Hubsters gets back with the car with the gas in it, parks the car. And it's like early afternoon. And so I'm thinking of all these things that I have to get done. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me get all these errands run because the baby's coming, okay? The baby's on the way. My contractions were like maybe like 10 minutes, 12 minutes apart. So it wasn't active labor yet. So we start running errands. So one of the errands was I had to return some library books. So we walk, literally. We lived on Fifth Avenue at the time. We walked all the way to 2nd Avenue where the library is. And those blocks are really, really long. So you're going to do 5th Avenue. You were going to do, I think it was 5th, then Madison, then Park, then Lexington, then 3rd, then 2nd. And these, when I'm talking about these blocks are long, it's about like, that was about half a mile basically. So the first stop was the library. Got to return all these library books. I don't know why I was like freaked out about having these overdue fines and having a baby and forgetting about them. So return all my library books. From there, now we're in East Harlem. We walked up to through the Bronx. So we walked from 5th Avenue where we lived to East Harlem. We walked to the Bronx where there was a Babies R Us because I had some exchanges to make. Again, I was like, I'm in labor. I know I have at least a day or so. That's what we were told. The first child is usually between 20 and 24 hours of labor. So we went all the way to the Babies R Us in the Bronx. And I exchanged it, and that's when I called my mom. So I'm FaceTiming my mom. I'm like, Mom, guess where I am? And she's like, where? And I said, I'm in Babies R Us, Mommy, I'm having contractions. And she's so excited, and she wants to get on the road right away. And I was like, calm down. I will keep you posted on the development. All right, so again, we walked from East Harlem to the Bronx, and part of our plan, because once you are admitted to the hospital, when you are in active labor, you can only have ice chips, maybe apple juice, but no food. There is no eating. And so we both knew, and Hubsters was absolutely right, I would need as much nutrition as possible in order to have the energy to push. So from the library to the Babies R Us to the Bronx, we walked down to West Harlem. We walked down to Dinosaur Barbecue, which is one of our favorite go-to restaurants. And that's on 125th and 12th Avenue. And as I'm walking, they're coming more consistently. And my husband is walking next to me, walking together, and he has the contraction app, and he's logging all the contractions. And they're getting closer, but they're not consistent. That was the issue. It was like they'll be 5 minutes apart. No, 6 minutes apart, then 8 minutes apart, then 10 minutes apart, then 12, then 8. So it wasn't consistent. So we're walking, but they're getting more painful. And so by this time, you guys, it had to have been like between 5. It was dark outside. So it had to be probably around between like 6 and 7 because I had started contractions at 1:30 in the morning. Helpsters was gone all morning, getting gas. Came back, and then we started our errands. So yeah, it's dinner time now. So we were walking to Dinosaur Barbecue, and I knew it was getting real because our waitress, it was packed. So there were no tables. So again, it's like a Thursday night. There were no tables. So we sat at the bar. And I remember being so annoyed with the waitress because she was taking forever to tell us the specials. And I was like, Miss, I'm in labor right now. I'm just trying to eat. I'm so sorry. And so it was really, really funny. I had salmon, I believe. I had salmon they had a corn succotash dish. I believe I had mac and cheese. I had their cornbread. And I ate the whole meal. I was so hungry. And I'm so glad I got that meal. So we had dinner, and then we walked home from Dinosaur Barbecue back to 5th Avenue. So that was like a good hour walk back. And I hadn't packed an overnight bag. I wasn't one of those women that had a bag by the door. So I said, let me go ahead and take a shower, pack my bag, and then let's go ahead and get out of here. Let's go ahead and get to the hospital. Mind you, it's Thursday, okay? Thursday evening after dinner. Hurricane Sandy hit a few days ago. I gave birth in Beth Israel Hospital, which was down by Union Square. But because of Hurricane Sandy, there were no traffic lights. It was like you were in a movie set. It was black. I mean, if you live in New York, you know, New York never sleeps, right? And there's always lights. It was the eeriest thing driving downtown with like total blackness. And the only reason I was able to give birth in the hospital where my doctor was affiliated was because it was on a generator. So we're driving, and we're going to the hospital, which is the only lit place in the area. And so my doctor was actually there. Let's give a shout out to Dr. Lucy Gade. Hey, Dr. Gade. She was there. And so before admitting me, she comes in, asks how I'm doing. And she said, they checked me. And she says, Taneza, I would recommend that you keep walking. Go try to find something to eat. Because you're talking to me, you're not in active labor yet. Like, we're having a full-on conversation. And yes, I believe that you are in labor. You are only a few centimeters dilated. I believe you have a little bit of time left. So why don't you and your husband go have a walk, try to find some breakfast. And again, this is like 10 o'clock at night. Why don't you guys? And I was just so, in the moment, I was like embarrassed and hurt. I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm not staying here? No, Taneza, like, you're not in active labor yet. You have a couple more hours. But in my mind, I'm like, but Dr. Gade, why? I don't want to go get something to eat. We already had dinner. My bag is ready. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. And Taneza, I know how much you don't want medical intervention in your delivery. And so the best bet is for you to walk, to get more exercise, and to come back. And I remember thinking, are you serious? I was so bummed out. But again, I trust her implicitly. And I was surprised because, again, the contractions hit me so hard and they were painful. But Dr. Gade was right. If I knew those contractions were barely anything compared to like active labor. So she was absolutely right. So anyway, come back. So we get the bag. Hubsters bring the car around. Let's just go home. Let's go home. Let me take a nice warm bath. Let's relax. Let it go. Because again, we've been walking all day. So the fact that she wants me to walk around at like 11:30 at night is really not going to happen. I was not hungry. I'd eaten that full dinner. But again, it wasn't time yet. Let's go home. So we go home. Hubsters ends up dozing, taking a quick cat nap on the couch. I take a nice warm bath. And at the end of my bath, it was like something in in my laboring, there was like a shift. I could feel it. And those contractions really began to hit me. Like, really. Not only were they more consistent, but they were strong. And I remember like being in the bathtub being like, all right, Taneza, like, is this what, are you feeling this? Are you imagining this? Do you just want to go back to the hospital? I was like, no, this is serious. This is serious. This is happening. This is happening. So I wake Hubsters up. He gets in the shower, fresh clothes. And at that point, I was ready to go. So again, we left the hospital, like I said, around midnight, 1 a.m., drove back uptown to where we lived. I couldn't sleep. Hubsters took a little cat nap. Instead, I just took a few warm baths, stood in the shower. Again, my labor pains were increasing. And so this is now through the night. I've been awake. And it's 6 a.m. And so we get in the car, the bag's ready. You guys, when I tell you, I will never forget that car ride. We went down the FDR, again, because we lived in Harlem and the hospital was in Union Square. When I tell you, I could feel every pothole, every bump on that highway. Oh, I remember being so angry at my husband. I'm like, are you intentionally going through these? Are you serious? Like, I was in so much pain. That drive, I felt like I felt every pebble that we rolled over. Woo! And at that moment, I realized Dr. Gade was right. What I was feeling before was not like this. And so upstairs finds, again, there's no lights and it's dark because it's really early in the morning, between 5:30 and 6. We're back in Union Square. parks the car, and Hubsters tells me after the fact, because I forgot when I was retelling the story, there were a bunch of I say unsheltered, I don't say homeless, unsheltered people that were walking into the hospital because it was the only thing that was lit. And he says there was two guys following us. One was like completely had no shirt on. He had like a blanket around him, like a cape. And I was so overwhelmed with my pain, I could not see anything or hear anything else. And so it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we walk back to the hospital. And guys, I'm crying. I'm in so much pain, you all. Like the snot is coming down my face. I can't even talk. And so I remember we walk in, and I saw an elevator, and I just walked into the elevator to go to labor and delivery. And the guy's like, no, this is a freight elevator. I don't care. Take me to the doctor, take me. And so I go up to labor and delivery, and they check me. And now it's 7:30 in the morning. They check me, and I was 8 centimeters dilated. And the reason that car ride was so painful, my water broke. So my water had already broke. When I tell you, when I got out that car, that second trip to the hospital, I did not feel anything but pain. So again, I had ruptured, I had ruptured the amniotic sac. I had broke my water. Probably they said in the car ride there. It's between 6:30 and 7 o'clock now. I'm 8 centimeters dilated. But you guys, I was exhausted. And I was in so much pain. And so Dr. Gates said, Taneza, I know you wanted to do an epidural-free birth, but in order for you to have the strength to push when you're fully dilated, you need to get some rest. Like, you need to take a 2-hour nap. So please, please, please consider getting the epidural. At that point, those contractions were like bam, bam, bam. And the only way I can describe it is if you watch like WWE wrestling, that flying kick, the move that some of the wrestlers do. It felt like someone was doing a flying kick into my stomach with everything, like kick, like the pain was shocking. It was so overwhelming. It shocked me. And so at 7:30 that morning, I said yes to the epidural, and I just had no idea it was going to take so long. It took like 30 minutes for the anesthesiologist to get there. And I remember it being you have to stay still because they had this long needle they put in your spine. And I just remember, sorry guys. I just remember having my husband there, and he had to insert the needle in between contractions. So you have to wait for the contraction and then hold. And it stung so badly. And I was just in so much pain. And then afterwards, I'm like, and I remember the anesthesiologist, she said, are you an athlete? And I was like, I run. And she said, I can tell by your spine that there's so much muscle there. And so I remember saying, like, I thought in my mind, because I was not planning to get the epidural, I hadn't done a lot of research on it. So when they injected it into me, I was expecting it to like work. And so after epidural, like 2 minutes later, I'm like, I feel nothing. Like there's no effect. Like this has not done anything for me. Lo and behold, you guys, like 3 minutes later, this wave of euphoria, it like washes over me. And I have never felt better in my life. My husband said, I was telling everyone that I love them. I love you. I love you. Oh, Dr. Gay, I love you. You guys, I tell my friends that have kids, my friends that are pregnant, they're expecting, I always say, don't be a hero. Get the epidural. And honestly, I was able to breathe again. Because before that, guys, the pain was so much, I would stop breathing. I had to catch my breath. Like, the pain was so overwhelming. It was beyond anything I could have ever imagined it being. So it's about 7:30. I get the epidural. It becomes Skittles and rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. And I'm back in my mind. I feel like I'm back in my body. For a minute there, I felt like I had left my body. My mind left my body. That's how much pain I was in. But once I got the epidural, I felt like, okay, hey husband, I love you again, boo. How are you? Like, I was okay again. And so I napped. She said, please get some rest, Taneza. So I slept for about 2.5, 3 hours. 2.5 hours. And so I was fully dilated. It's about 10:30, 10:40. And the nap, Dr. Gay was literally the best doctor. Everything she said was true and accurate. I was refreshed from my nap. I was ready to push. And so I remember there were a lot of nurses in the room because so many of the other area hospitals didn't have power because of Hurricane Sandy. And so a lot of nurses came to support Beth Israel, where I gave birth. Like, best hospital experience. Chef's kiss. So anywho, 10:30, everyone's getting dressed, getting in their scrubs. I'm going to start pushing soon, and so we do a few practice. Like, the nurse says, you're going to bear down. You're going to pretend like you have to take a big poo. And you just really want to give it all you got. And in all the videos that I had watched, going to this parenting class in Tribeca, be prepared to push, 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. And a friend of mine who had given birth the previous year, she had pushed for so long, she had to take a nap because she was completely depleted. Like, she pushed for 2 hours. So in the back of my mind, I'm getting myself mentally prepared to push for at least 30, 45 minutes. And so I'm getting myself ready, it's game time. And so it's around 11 o'clock when I actually began to push. Tell me why I pushed 4 times. This is accurate. I'm not exaggerating. I pushed 4 times and the baby was born. 4 pushes. My baby girl, I'm not going to give her name, but my baby girl was born November the 2nd, 2012 at 11:12 a.m. Woo! I was crying. They put her on my chest. Oh my goodness, guys. I fell in love instantly. I was just overwhelmed with gratitude and just pure joy. It wasn't even happiness. It was pure joy. And they said, Daddy, do you want to announce the baby? Because again, we didn't know the gender. And Hubsters was like, it's a girl. I remember being so shocked, oh no. Oh my goodness, she had a head full of dark hair. Oh, her almond eyes. She was the most beautiful baby. And I just remember being so shocked that it was a girl. No way. One of the first thoughts was oh my goodness, I gotta comb all this hair. It's so beautiful. And so they laid her on my chest again. I started pushing at a few minutes past 11 and she was born at 11:12. They could not believe. They're like, is this her 3rd or 4th child? And the other nurse is like, no, it's her 1st. And so I remember when they said to start pushing, in my mind, I was like, Taneza, give it all you got. Push like you've never pushed before. And so they said bear down and push. I did that first one. And then the second one, they could see the hair. And then the third one, the head. And then they said, okay, one little one. And the baby's out. And I said, no way. Sure enough, I did it, easing a push. And And the baby came out, and the doctor said, Hubsters, do you want to say the gender? And he said, it's a girl. And I said, no way. And they laid her on my chest. And again, love, I was overcome with joy. And I was just so happy. In that moment, I just remember thinking like, wow, God, thank you. Like, this has been a prayer of mine for so many years, and you are faithful, and she is here. And I remember we had gotten so many baby shower gifts for a boy because everyone saw it was a boy. And I remember thinking like, we have to exchange so much stuff because it's actually a girl. And I remember just being so happy and so thankful. And my mother-in-law believes that it was the barometric pressure of the hurricane that caused me to deliver the 9 days early. And I remember growing up, my mother used to always say, especially around my birthday, she'd always say, Taneza, I was in labor for 23 hours and 58 minutes with you. 23 hours, almost a whole day. You know I love you. And in that, I remember I was in the hospital thinking, I was like 33 hours. I was in labor for 33 hours. But I said to myself, I would have done it all again, just the same, to only have to push 4 times. It was worth those 33 hours. And so I was inspired to share this story because I'm actually sitting here missing baby girl. She's on a school field trip. I mentioned in another video that my school field trips were like to the museum or to a show. They're doing an overnight trip in Philadelphia. So we've been packing all weekend. She's been looking forward to this so much. And when I dropped her off to get on the bus, she was so happy and so excited. And I just thought to myself, like, in that moment, this is another milestone for her. She's going to be a preteen soon. And I just adore her. Oh, I adore her so much. And I'm sitting here missing her. And I said, let me share with the tribe how she came into this world. And I just, oh my goodness, my sweet baby. She's a big girl now. She's 10. So that was over a decade ago. I have 3 children. So if you want to hear the other 2, something always happens with my birth stories. Something always happens. And so if you want to hear what happened with BB1 and BB2, I got stories for days, y'all. Just drop it in the comments below. But I just want to say again how thankful to God I am for answering my prayer. Thankful to my husband for being so supportive and so loving and taking such good care of me. And then to baby girl, one day she'll watch this video. I prayed for you. Like I always tell her, I prayed to God for a baby and he sent an angel. And so I just remember just being just so happy and so hungry. And they kept bringing me food because I was so hungry. I couldn't get enough food in me. But that my tribe is my labor and delivery story for my baby girl, my first child, here in NYC. What an adventure. What an adventure. It started at 1:30 a.m. Thursday, November the 10th. And then I gave birth. I love numbers. If you know me, you know that. And so I love the fact that she was due 11/11. But the fact that she was born 11/2/2012, so 11212 at 11/12, 1112. Oh, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Oh, she is a love of my life. I'm obsessed. Oh, I would do anything for that girl. She's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Been such a blessing in our lives. And I'm just excited to see, the life that she's going to lead. But again, that is my labor and delivery story. If you guys have any questions, any comments, just drop them down below. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye. I don't want to say goodbye because I enjoy talking to you guys so much. Bye for now.